Hey brother! And it is only 2 weeks until Moana comes out, which means we're like 2 weeks away from like the next Disney princess, and you know how we love Disney princesses on this channel. Plus, it is sure to be chock full of Easter eggs, so today I wanted to run down the top 10 Easter eggs and just other cool things to be aware of when you're watching Moana. The target market for Disney princesses is like girls 12 and under and then like men age 28, right? Number 10, the hidden Mickey. In case you didn't know, this is one of the oldest Easter eggs in Disney and is exactly what it sounds like. Mickey Mouse being hidden in different animated films. These can be really blatant or really subjective. Like some people consider any 3 circles together to be Mickey Mouse, like these barrels entangled. Sure, yeah, technically that's the shape, but it's also just hard to avoid when you're stacking barrels. It's kind of like saying this is a Mickey Mouse pancake after you've seen this Mickey Mouse pancake. One is on purpose and one is just sloppy pancaking. I mean, come on, get your act together. On the other hand, sometimes it is much more obvious than just the 3 circles. Like, for example, these hidden Mickey Mouse dolls in Frozen. One on the bookshelf when Anna is a little girl, and one in Oaken Trading's post when she is shopping. In any case, be on the lookout for Mickey himself in Moana. Number 9, A113. Now I'm sure most of you are familiar with this Easter egg in Pixar movies, but we get tweets about this all the time when people spot it in other places, so let me just clear this up. A113 is not unique to Pixar. It's an Easter egg used by anyone who studied at the California Institute of Arts as the classroom number where they studied animation. As such, it can show up in any animated thing, and even in some live action stuff when they need like animated stuff for graphics in the background, like in the Hunger Games here. Number 8, Alan Tudyk, aka the John Ratzenberger of Walt Disney Animation Studios. Similar to how Ratzenberger has voiced a character in every single Pixar movie, Tudyk has voiced a character in every single Disney animated movie since Wreck-It Ralph, where he voiced King Candy. He was also the Duke of Weselton in Frozen, Duke Weaselton in Zootopia, and Alistair Cray in Big Hero 6, and he will have a voice in Moana. Who he is going to voice is already public information, so if you want to look it up on Google, you can. But if you'd like to try and figure it out for yourself, just be aware that he is voicing a character, because I don't think it is going to be obvious, so listen hard. Number 7, a reference to The Rock. As I'm sure you know, on her journey, Moana will be accompanied by the demigod Maui, who is voiced by Dwayne Johnson. Now this might be common knowledge, but it occurred to me the other day that there might be an entire generation of kids who did not experience Dwayne Johnson as WWE wrestling superstar The Rock. If you happen to be one of those kids, allow me to fill you in, because to say that Dwayne The Rock Johnson was anything less than the most popular WWE wrestler for like a decade would just be inaccurate. Although I have to admit, personally, I was always more of a Rey Mysterio fan. But I digress. The Rock had so much in the way of personality, catchphrases, and swagger that I would be shocked if none of that made it into the movie. My top candidates are The Rock's signature catchphrase, "Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?" A demonstration of his signature move, the People's Elbow. Also just him referring to himself at all as the People's Champion. This one seems particularly likely as even in the trailers he refers to himself as the hero of men. And I really hope this is it, if Maui just has a favorite rock. Number 6, a Wreck-It Ralph 2 reference. Now, we know Pixar always leaves an Easter egg in their current film for their next upcoming film. And I suspect that Moana might do the same for Disney's next animated film, which will be Wreck-It Ralph 2. It may seem difficult to work in a video game themed Easter egg into a movie about Pacific Island navigators, but I have a guess as to where it might pop up. In the desserts. Most of the first Wreck-It Ralph takes place in the game Sugar Rush, which is made almost entirely out of candy. Frozen actually found a way to work in this nod using a plate of chocolate. Look familiar? So if there are any banquet scenes or feasts or celebrations in Moana, be on the lookout for the table of desserts, because there could be a reference to Wreck-It Ralph 2. Number 5, Gigantic. This is kind of in the same vein as the last one. Gigantic is another upcoming movie for Disney Disney in 2018. And rather than being a sequel like Wreck-It Ralph 2, this is their next original movie. So I think we could also see an Easter egg for that in Moana. Gigantic will be Disney's version of Jack and the Beanstalk, and you may have even already seen a nod to it in Zootopia when Duke Weaselton is selling the bootleg DVDs. So just be on the lookout for, in particular, any giant plants, talk of magic beans or golden eggs, or anything else that has to do with Jack and the Beanstalk. But this one could be particularly tricky to spot because it might be something where you don't even know it was an Easter egg until after Gigantic comes out, and then we have to go back and watch Moana, and then you'll know what it is. Number 4, Friends of Bribery. This is more of a prediction / pattern than it is an Easter egg, but I have a hunch that Maui and Moana aren't going to start out as friends and only end up working together because someone has something the other one needs. I say this because this is a technique Disney has been using a lot in other animated films. For example, in Tangled, Flynn only agrees to help Rapunzel because she has the crown that he stole. In Zootopia, Nick only agrees to help Judy because she has a recording of him admitting his guilt. And in Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph only helps Vanellope because he needs her to win him another medal. But of course, they always end up being super great friends and save the day. And I have a feeling Maui and Moana will follow this exact pattern. And if I had to guess what the object that Moana has over Maui, I'm betting it's this tiny green stone she's holding right here. Number 3, the surprise villain. Speaking of patterns in Disney movies, this one is starting to become predictable. The surprise villain at the end of the movie. Disney is getting very good at introducing bad guys as good guys and then luring your attention away from them with a red herring. In Frozen, the Duke of Weselton looks like he might be the bad guy. And I mean, he's still not a very good guy, but he totally takes your attention away from Hans, who ends up being the movie's true villain. In Zootopia, Mayor Lionheart gets blamed for the crimes of Assistant Mayor Bellwether. And in Big Hero 6, Alistair Cray's aggressive business tactics draw you away from Professor Callahan. So who knows, maybe this giant lava monster is actually going to turn out to be a good guy. But in any case, be on the lookout early in the film for a new character who immediately introduces themselves as a friend. Number 2, Maui's tattoo art. This is less of an Easter egg as well, but something fun you can tell your friends while you're waiting in line at the movies. As you've probably seen in the trailers, Maui's tattoos can sort of come to life, and what's particularly cool about this is that it's the only bit of hand-drawn animation in the film. In fact, it's the first bit of hand-drawn animation to make it into a Disney animated film since Winnie the Pooh in 2011, which was like obviously hand-drawn. So what's really significant about it is that it's the first hand-drawn animation in a computer-animated Disney film, which I am kind of excited about. And actually, if you want to see the reverse of this story, which is when I think the first time Disney used computer animation in a hand-drawn film, you can check out that video by clicking the card. And the number 1 thing to look for in Moana is characters from other Disney movies. Disney does this all the time, but the question is, which Disney characters will make an appearance, because Disney certainly has a lengthy history to choose from. Now, the obvious candidates to me are at least the more recent Disney films, like all of the computer animated ones up to this point. But because Moana is supposed to be taking place so long ago, I doubt we see any actual human characters, which would really narrow the field quite a bit. I also know Moana takes place in the South Pacific, so you might not expect anyone from Frozen to make an experience because, you know, warm weather, but there is one character in Frozen who just loves summer who I would totally love to see make an appearance. Olaf. Like, maybe as a sandman instead of a snowman? I don't know. I could see it though. Actually, fun fact, Olaf makes another appearance in Big Hero 6 as the statue, but you have to be looking real fast to see him. But like I said, Disney has a huge library of characters from which to choose from that could make an appearance in this film. But our top candidates are someone from Hercules, Aladdin, or The Little Mermaid. Those 3 in particular stand out because they have the same writer-director combo as Moana, John Musker and Ron Clements. The obvious frontrunner out of those 3 would be The Little Mermaid, just because of the ocean setting, but I doubt we'll get lucky enough to see Ariel herself. The sidekicks, however, would be easy enough to just like hide in the sea life, so maybe like Flounder or Sebastian or Flotsam and Jetsam. Although, actually, I really doubt it's the eels because they're like the bad guys and just not as popular. We do know that there is a giant crab in Moana named Tamatoa, so I don't know, maybe if he has like little minion crabs, Sebastian could show up there. But really, my money is on Flounder, because he would just be so easy to hide in the background there, so keep an eye out for him. As for Hercules and Aladdin, well, we know Hercules takes place a long time ago as well, and in the opening scenes we see Zeus locking the Titans underwater, and this movie takes place on the ocean, and there is a giant lava monster, so maybe we see the Titans or another Titan, possibly in like a montage of like Maui's accomplishments or something while he's bragging about himself. And for Aladdin, my top suspects would be the carpet, which they have used before in The Princess and the Frog, the lamp itself, or maybe that tiny golden scarab they use to activate the Cave of Wonders. In particular, be on the lookout for those items when we meet Tamatoa, because he looks like he's going to have like a vault of treasure and has a bunch of gold on his back, and that would be easy to hide in those little piles of gold. And there you go, that is our top 10, or maybe a few more than that, things to look for in Moana. So I hope you guys all go see the movie in a couple weeks, and if you spot any Easter eggs, please come back to this video and leave them down in the comments, and or just tweet them at us here. But my question for you and everybody else is, not only are we super excited for Moana, but also Rogue One and Fantastic Beasts, both coming up in the next month. Which of those three are you looking forward to the most? Let us know in the towel section down below.
These socks are amazing!
Guys, thanks for watching. As always, please like this video if you haven't already, and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos about Disney. If you want to see our trailer review of Moana, you can click right here, or if you're looking forward to Fantastic Beasts and want to know everything you need to know about wizards in North America, you can check out this video right here. But Ben, that's all I've got for you today, man. I will see you in another life, brother.